Jimi Hendrix, born Johnny Allen Hendrix on November 27, 1942, in Seattle, Washington, was an African-American musician, singer, and songwriter. Due to discrimination, Hendrix's father was denied the standard military furlough granted to servicemen for childbirth and was even placed in the stockade for 2 months without trial. When his father was finally discharged, 3 years had passed before Hendrix was able to see him. The family struggled with alcoholism, unemployment, and domestic violence. All of Hendrix's younger siblings spent time in foster care. Eventually, all but Leon were adopted. His parents divorced in 1951 when he was 9 years old, and the courts granted his father custody of him and his brother Leon. At his mother's death, Jimmy and his brother were kept from the funeral by the father, who gave them alcohol, stating that was the way men should handle their grief. While in elementary school, Hendrix used a broom as guitar to cope with the stress of home life. The school social worker was so concerned that she attempted to use the funding for underprivileged children to purchase a guitar, but was denied. Unfortunately, his father also refused to purchase one. In 1957, while helping his father, Hendrix found a ukulele in the garbage they were removing from an older woman's home, and she told him he could keep it. He even taught himself to play, listening to Elvis Presley's songs, such as Hound Dog. In mid-1958, at 15, Hendrix acquired his first acoustic guitar for $5 and soon thereafter formed his first band called the Velvetones. He could barely be heard over the other instruments, and his father purchased him an electric guitar. Jimi Hendrix was a troubled youth and did not finish high school. Then, at the age of 19, he was given the choice between prison or joining the army due to being caught multiple times with stolen cars. He was able to have his guitars with him and even played at bass clubs on weekends. Unfortunately, his troubled past stayed with him, and he was discharged because of multiple infractions related to personal conduct, sleeping on duty, and failing to be present at vet checks. In 1962, Hendrix made a living playing for musicians such as Wilson Pickett, Sam Cooke, Ike and Tina Turner, and Jackie Wilson. Even then, Hendrix was showing his unique talent and being able to incorporate the playing styles of others into his own charismatic performances. By 1964, Hendrix was feeling restrained, having to follow the rules, and struck out on his own. After winning first prize in an Apollo Theater amateur contest, he landed a job with the Isley Brothers, but that did not last, and he joined Little Richard's touring band. Hendrix's first television appearance was in 1965 as part of Little Richard's ensemble band, where he played guitar and provided backup vocals. Hendrix spent some time overseas, performing in the front of artists such as Eric Clapton, John Lennon, Mick Jagger. Sister Rosetta Tharpe, who influenced many of these artists, was a pioneer in her guitar technique, and it said that Hendrix aspired to play like her and incorporated the use of heavy distortion on his electric guitar. Hendrix still inspires 40 years after his death. His album entitled People, Hell and Angels was released posthumously and beat out modern-day pop stars such as Bruno Mars and Mumford & Sons. There is no mention of him attending church, but he did seek God after a fashion. In his later works, there were allegories to heaven and a search for love and peace that was missing most of his life. Jimi Hendrix died on September 18, 1970 in London at the age of 27 due to an overdose.